Hey guys, haven't had to adult too much today, and so I've kind of got a little bit of crazy hair going on. Something weird happened at the school, so they closed down, so the kids are just playing and all that stuff. It's a weekday. Um, and so it's kind of a casual shave. I'm kind of stepping back in time just a little bit, not as far as we can go with some of the vintage shaving gear that many of us have. Such good stuff that's still around today and still works really, really well today. Some of my favorite stuff. But a little newer than that. I was a child in the 70s and a little older in the 80s. And so the Smokey and the Bandit series came along and hit me right in the right way. And it was a blast. And I really enjoyed those movies. And I watched one of those recently. I can't remember which one it was. But this is Bandit by Dr. Jons. And here's his, you can pause that if you want to see the ingredients and stuff. I'm pretty sure this is his volume 1. This was a collaboration effort with Beaver Woodwright. And that Beaver Woodwright would later change to become Black Ship Grooming. I think the Black Ship Grooming did the aftershave of this. And then Dr. Jons did the soap. At least that's what I found on trythatsoap.com. Or Try This Soap, I can never remember. So this has definitely been used. I just recently got it in, and it smells nice. And you know what? I bought it scent unseen. I didn't even read the notes because I had seen this before around a little bit. And so when I saw it come up for sale, I put in an offer right then. I said I would like that. I don't care, and I didn't tell the guy, but I'm sure he doesn't mind knowing, but I didn't care how it smelled because I have a feeling whatever they put into this, I was going to have fun with. And whether it was just obnoxious and ladies' man cologne or something like that, or whether it was something different, I got a feeling I would enjoy it because, you know, you can put your mind to a certain place and that changes kind of what the smells you might tolerate or enjoy, that sort of thing. Hey. And so along that era, way back when, there's also something in the culture that was this amazing new aircraft that could fly higher and faster than anything. And it just, as a little boy with posters, I may have actually even had a poster of the SR-71 Blackbird. And that was the jet. And that was just an amazing piece of machinery. And what's nuts is how long ago they actually started developing that. And I don't really remember the specs, but I think it was the 70s or something. And anyway, it's a big leaky aircraft when it's on the ground because it was built to take high altitude, high stress kind of stuff. And so once it g's up there, it's a little bit piece of trivia there. Once it gets up there, everything seals up tight and it does its job. And it's been doing it for a long time. And they used to, I think somebody finally shot one down several years ago, but for the longest time, missiles couldn't catch it, you know, that sort of thing. It was really neat. And so as a young boy, you know, it's fun to know those kinds of things and just to know that we have this awesome jet for our country and all these. Well, that was the inspiration for the SR-70, I'm sorry, the Blackland Blackbird. So Blackland made this. They also make the Saber and the Dart, of which I have tried as well. Now this one the edges feel a little sharper, the corners and stuff. There's no way I'm getting cut or anything, but they just feel a little sharper. And so I'm guessing this one is kind of the version 1 that came out for a while. I did own one of these and I sold it. And it was smoother, and so I'm guessing, and I know that what I had was the version 2. I think a lot of people were kind of beefing about the sharp edges and stuff. So that'll be nice. I'll be able to try that out. I'll probably sell this because I don't expect my skin to be able to handle it any better than it did already. But this was part of a purchase where another razor that I wanted, and this kind of came along with it. So I said, hey, I'll buy him, then I'll sell this guy. But I can't let this guy go. I've always thought these are gorgeous razors. And this is the polished finish, of course. And so I can't let it go without trying it again. It'll probably treat me just the same as before. A little bit on the aggressive side. Probably too aggressive for me to use every day. And so I picked a blade to use in this one. Where'd it go? Here it is. The head has been used several times, so it's definitely been smoothed out just a hair. And we're looking at 14 uses on this GSB, or Gillette Silver Blue. And this is not one that I'm marathoning. I have another one that's maybe 35 uses or something that I am marathoning. This one this is for whenever I'm trying out new razors that I need to make sure I have a nice fresh blade on to give it kind of more of an objective comparison where I know that the blade is not really the issue. So we got those rails there that help to keep everything aligned. Just the finishing on here is just tremendous. I so wish that this razor was less aggressive so that I could enjoy it on a regular basis. Before you do that final tighten, you got to let go and let the so you don't get pinched. And you can take a look at the exposure there. And who knows? This is that version 1. Could it be different than the newer one? Could this be less aggressive? That could be cool. All right, we'll try it out anyway. Showing you the blade. Let's also show you the razor. I'm sorry, the brush. This is a Craving shaving handle. And I haven't really used it except for test lathers yet. I just put this Virginia Cheng shaving, Virginia Cheng brush knot in it, and it is shaking most of the water out. It's a Silvertip knot from Vig Shaving. That's why I was mixing up my words. Because they are a Chinese company, you'll hear them spelled and said different ways. I think Vig Shaving, V-I-G Shaving, is their eBay username. But then you'll see them written as Virginia Cheng, Virginia Cheng, just different ways. And, you know, I really like their brushes. You've got some of the newer knots, and I believe this is the Maggard SHD. And these tips have been treated, bleached out. You see they're a little whiter color. Then you've also got, this is my B5 from Declaration Grooming, and this is much more expensive knot, and the tips have been treated as well. On that one, I don't think Virginia Cheng is likely to treat their knots because they're much less expensive. But if I had to buy one knot that I knew I wanted to make sure lasted me for 10, 15 years, I would probably pick a Silvertip kind of like this. I mounted this at the normal height. I didn't raise it up like I have others because I knew that the Virginia Cheng knots had a lot of play, a lot of splay to them. They opened up easily, and so I wanted to maybe restrict that just a little bit. And so I mounted it down in kind of at the whatever the default depth was on this handle. And the beauty of a handle, isn't it? Silver and gray and blue. And because these tips are untreated, they'll last longer. If you only buy one brush and you end up with one of those that's kind of has bleached tips that I showed you, that may only last you 5 years of shaves because those tips are not as strong. They're not as long lasting because they've been treated and weakened structurally. Now that weakening does give them that, can give them that hooked nature, that gel-like nature that so many users are trying to achieve. But I just wanted to tell those of you out there that are less focused on that aspect, more focused on economy, more focused on your wallet. And so if you have one brush to buy and you want to make sure it lasts a long time, my advice is to find one that doesn't have the treated tips. and that'll help you out. Now, if you don't mind buying a new brush every 5 years, then obviously pick whatever brush you want to enjoy, right? All right, so I'm going to get this guy a little bit more wet since I've kind of let him dry a little bit more than usual. With this soap, I'm going to load for about 45 seconds. First, let me splash my face. A little bit more than 1 day of growth I've got on me today. Let's take a look at the scent notes in the Bandit. I remembered to bring them with me this time. The scent is herbs and citrus, incense, patchouli, leather, and whiskey. And so many of those elements, a little bit of citrus, the patchouli, leather, and whiskey, I'm just a big fan of. And so I'm gonna hope that I get to absorb all those as we work here. All right, so we'll do a 45-second load. We'll start at the 10 mark on the video. There we go. I used to scoop my soaps as a general rule, and 1/4 teaspoon of soap for this base was about right to give me all the lather I needed. I don't have as firm of a figure with the brush loading that I'm doing now. How much is going to overflow depends on how much water is in your brush. All right, we got 25 seconds there. Oh yeah, it smells nice. 35 seconds. I've probably got a lot of soap on there, you know, probably more than I need, but I just wanted to cover all my bases. Yeah, that's a lot. Rinse off the container. I turn it upside down because I don't really want to rinse out the soap that's in there. Some people like to do that, and if you like to, that's okay. But to me, it's just a waste of good soap, good lather stuff. It'll dry down. Some of it will dry down even before this shave is over. All right, I'm going to take my Roger Quintero lather bowl, 3D printed. Links in the description of the video if you can 3D print your own stuff. Oh yeah, something's coming up. Maybe some incense. Something kind of smooth and ambery, like maybe the whiskey. It's probably that whiskey note. Do I smell the leather? The description definitely matches with the whole theme of the soap. It's nice. The scent notes. It's nice. I thought it'd be a little bit more obnoxious because the Bandit was pretty obnoxious, arrogant, overconfident. Those movies don't really track in today's PC culture. Dr. John's base has always been tremendous. The 2 was really good. The 1, he's come out with number 3, volume 3. Some of his newer stuff is in. Pretty cool. It's a vegan soap base, really good quality. I like his stuff a lot. A lot of his scents are really well done as well. And strong enough for me to enjoy during the shave, which is sometimes hard to find. So with with this knot, you're not getting a super high density, because that's what you'll get with Declaration or that Maggard's high density or some of those Manchurian type bulbs. But it's possible that those really high density brushes bring some negatives that you may not enjoy. So it's possible you might like average density. I like the flow through. I like that they're easier to clean. I like that they have less backbone. They feel softer, splay well on my face. They don't get all caught up in my, just dragging on my beard because there's so many brush tips that my beard seems to grab a hold on. I did a test lather with this yesterday with some Mitchell's wool fat, and it felt really good on my face. It didn't feel good at first on my hand, on my palm, when I took a bar of soap and worked it over. But it just needed to absorb some water. It just needed to kind of be worked a little bit. And then it felt really good when I got around to the Mitchell's wool fat. It's just a soap I had handy, you know. Oh yeah, oh see, that's so slick. That's so slick. Vegan soaps are cool. I like tallow usually, but if a vegan soap smells good and treats me right, I'm not a anti-vegan soap person, at least. Sometimes some vegans are really obnoxious, right? But there's some meat eaters that are obnoxious too. That's the truth. You got to be objective. Add just a little bit more water, because as I recall, Dr. John's base is so good that you can get it, you can hydrate it really well, and it holds together, stays slick for you. Take a look at it now. Some nice elasticity there. Pull it up from kind of a stretch here. Not super long in terms of the stretch. It's still kind of holding together, but so let's add just a little bit more water to it. I think I remember Dr. John's can get stretchier than that. Still be fine. Love these Craving shaving handles. I'm a bowl latherer, and I like to mix up kind of the whole 3 passes in the bowl at once, instead of mixing up a concentrate like some guys do and just add water to the brush. And this helps me to do that pretty comfortably. A lot of bristles were pulled out during that test lather I did the other day, so it's possible more will. And I don't have a problem at all if I get 40 bristles the first time I use it, 40 the next time I use it. It's just not a big deal. And as long as I'm within maybe 50 shaves, if it's still shedding, I'm not worried, because you paid, I think these are like $25 knots. There are nice there are nice handles out there that you can get for $7, like DS Cosmetics on AliExpress. They're comfortable, they're ergonomic. I've got one right here actually, and Shave Forge has them for about $15, and you might be able to get them quicker if you went through them, but AliExpress has them for I think $8. And it's really ergonomic, good size for me. And you combine that $8 handle with a $25 knot, and you've got a good Badger brush that's comfortable and soft and smooth. And so it's a great entry-level Badger if you like the softness. If you like more firm, if you like more scrub and more backbone, strongly consider the Stirling Finest Badger brushes, in my opinion, because they are definitely more firm than these guys. And they are at a great price point too, even less than what I told you about buying the handle separately and then putting the big shaving knot on it. All right, yeah, I can smell that. Water on my face. Okay, let's put this lather on. Definitely don't get that whole big ball feeling with the finest knots with this guy. May have let there be too much water in my beard, I'm not sure. Strong scents on this one. He's kind of watering down a little bit. Give your badgers a little time to kind of warm up, be able to hold the lather and all that stuff. It's also possible I mixed it a little thin this time, but that's all right. You know what you can do? Just go back and get some more. A lot of times you'll need a little bit more lather on the first pass than you will the others. Just working it in, cleaning the face, not really doing any exfoliation. Brushes aren't hard enough to do that. The razor is, though. That's what's going to do the exfoliation, is the first pass of your shave. What do I smell? Do I smell the leather? Maybe. What were some of the other notes? Herbs. I don't really smell any citrus. Incense, probably. Patchouli. That kind of sweeter flavor, sweeter scent that I noted earlier isn't really there anymore, that I associated maybe with the whiskey. What's this? I could probably do without the herbs. That might be what is getting in the way a little bit for me, but still pretty good. I don't think the Bandit was all that herby, you know. Anyway, here we go with the Blackbird. I have to see how aggressive he treats me here. And I purposefully chose a blade that was used so that it would be smoothed out just a little bit. Some people, I did a lot of research before I bought my first Blackbird. Some people say that their Blackbird gives them the closest shave. And they've tried a bunch, including expensive ones like Wolfman and that kind of thing. But they're Blackbird, and it's an aggressive razor, and so if a person can tolerate that aggression, seems to be doing so far good for me this time. If you can tolerate that aggression, then you can be rewarded with a really close shave. I'm feeling a little bit of drag. Not just zipping along smoothly like so most of my other razors, but so it's not as comfortable per se, but it's just different. I mean, who says your razor has to just slide around real smoothly? I mean, I like it when it does that, but if it goes slow and still gives you a good cut and doesn't irritate your skin, then maybe that's okay. All right, so let's lather up for the second pass. That did feel a little bit less aggressive than I remember my other Blackbird being. Don't have to scrub too much, and indeed, sometimes you don't want to if you know you have a razor that's a little on the aggressive side, even though sometimes I like to keep evaluating the brush and feel it in the scrub even if I'm not in the first pass. It's just me. Best not to do it if I'm working a razor that's maybe this aggressive for me. Yeah, a little bit of drag here. And that is a complaint that I did see from other users as well. And I did have it a little bit with my other Blackbird, but I believe that maybe some lathers that aren't quite as wet might kind of be what you need for this razor. This is a really wet lather. This one might be more suited for a straight razor shaver. A little bit of skin stretching, not much. A little area right there I got to be careful about. I wonder if my technique and maybe my skin even has changed over the last maybe year to make this razor a little nicer to me. I don't know. Rinse. All right, third pass. Plenty of soap to do the job. Probably enough to squeeze out another pass. Yeah, I'm sure, if I needed to. So, oh, there's a bristle. So here's my third pass, and then here's the extra. So, yep. So that's, I thought that 45 seconds might be a little too much, you know, because it was just generating so much. But looks like maybe it was just right. Yeah, this is a wet lather. Next time, if I'd thought about it, if I'd remembered how wet it was, what you can do is dry your face between passes instead of leaving it a little wet like I usually do. And then some of the water from the lather will be absorbed in your skin, and then your lather will thicken up just a hair. So this kind may have a little bit more drag for this particular razor. Other razors do fine with this level of wetness. But this one has as we probably saw before, just some flat surfaces. See right there, there's a lot of contact right there on the safety bar down below as well as the top of the head. And that's what causes some of that drag. So your lathers may need to be just a little different if you have this razor. There's no problem with the handle. It is a polished chrome handle. I'm sorry, polished stainless steel handle. But with these ridges in place and with this kind of knob at the end, I just have no problem keeping good control of it, even when wet and soapy. Feel a little bit of razor burn, a little bit of catch right there. Maybe I should have stopped at 2 passes. We'll see. Yeah, right there. That's a common spot for me to get a little bit of irritation because it's right where my beard stops being a beard. And right where there's some skin folds and things like that. If I was maybe just a little bit more conscientious, I could probably avoid those kind of issues. And there we go. Yeah, unfortunately there were some things in the scent that kind of put me off of some of the favorite parts that I was looking forward to smelling. I think it's a pretty good scent. And final rinse. While my skin's got a little bit of moisture, I'm going to throw on my Balm. This is a Stirling Executive Man, and one of my favorites. My wife's too. I've got oily skin, so I don't really need always to use a balm. Sometimes I do, especially when I've got a little bit of irritation, a little bit of razor burn like today. And I apply it in the direction of the hair growth. Yeah, you can see the redness right there. And I don't even really feel that irritation right now. I mean, I feel it just a little bit, so I'm confident it's going to be gone in no time. And there we go. You can even see kind of sometimes maybe I think I put on a little bit too much, but this will be absorbed in just a few minutes. You won't be able to see any of that white. And now time for me to clean up. And I think the smell, this is the Creed Aventus inspired scent from Stirling. And I think it does a great job. And I think it doesn't conflict or clash with the Bandit. Pretty cool. I'm pretty sure we refilled the syringe, and so that means we're looking at 3.5 teaspoons of water for that 45 seconds of loading, and that does look like some of the data that I had previously, so that might be consistent. So here's what it looks like after a good towel stropping back there. Opens up. Obviously it's a bulb knot, or mostly a bulb knot. And I found it just perfect for me. It, it's got plenty of hairs. It is soft to the face. It splays easily, yet it doesn't just flatten out, like this and then stay that way. It still stays with the tips on your face, comfortable. So really happy with this guy. So I'm really, the thing about this knot, this is my third Virginia Cheng knot. First one I got was a 26 millimeter because I got this other 26 millimeter handle years ago that I thought, I like this. This is really ergonomic. And so I put that knot in it and I enjoyed the knot. But then I got to where I realized, this was early on, I realized that I did not like the handle as much as I thought. I found others that I just liked so much better, and so the handle just kind of fell by the wayside. So I wasn't using that knot anymore. Well, now that I've got this guy, I wanted a good representative of the Virginia Cheng shaving knots. And this guy has, this is a 24 millimeter. This is geared to accept a 26, I believe. But I think with this, there's a little bit of a glue bump here, a little bit of a width issue. I don't think you could fit a 26 Virginia Cheng knot in here. I think you'd have to maybe have a 28 millimeter handle to put a 26 in. And so now I can sell that Virginia Cheng handle because I've got a great representation of that brush maker right here. And then I also bought maybe an 18 or a 20 millimeter Virginia Cheng because I had this cool little long barber pole designed, wooden handle, looked really kind of antique-y, and it was of course a smaller knot. And so I put that, well, I need to sink that a little deeper with less loft because it's so long that it's got a little bit too much flop to it. This one, perfect amount. And so sometimes if you go, I've learned so far that sometimes you can get more density, more backbone by growing up in size instead of necessarily, shrinking down. I mean, they're both they're both able to be used by you to control your knot density. And so you can choose. Do you maybe want to get a 26 or a 24 and sink it deeper? Do you want to, or a 20 and sink it really deep so that less hair is showing up and therefore it has the right amount of backbone for you? Do you want to get a 24 knot like this one and put it in an average depth and have a good size? But if you like a smaller knot, so there's some different things. I was trying to go with the 22 Virginia Cheng or the 20 because the 26 just felt a little too big for my face. I have the goatee, so I don't really need a lot of brush I need some wiggle room, and so I don't need big brushes. But I think what I discovered is the smaller end of the Virginia Cheng spectrum, unless you sink them pretty deep in the handle, a little too floppy. And so I think I've landed at the right place with this one. I'm sorry, that was a little rambling. I hope that in the end it made sense. The 20, very small. I need to sink it deeper to have the right amount of backbone for me. Otherwise, it's kind of really floppy by anyone's measurement. The 26 millimeter one that I have in that other handle, the Maggard's handle, is a nice backbone. And this 24 is a nice backbone put in at the normal depths of the handles that they're in. So there we go. Very nice. I don't think I need to raise this one up at all to get more splay, to get more relax to it. I don't think that's necessary. I think I'm in a happy spot with it. I think I will move this razor on because I just have so many good ones. It's a beauty, man. It is a nice looking razor, but I think that there are just too many good ones that just shave my face better and more comfortably. It's just maybe a little too aggressive for me. Treated me okay today. I don't even really feel any of that irritation that caught me before. So for my youth's sake, I'm going to keep the Bandit around. But I think maybe I enjoy a lot of others better. I think it's the herbs that kind of are stepping in there and kind of killing it. Killing those other notes. But I mean, come on. There's so many leather fragrances out there. And even leather and bourbon, leather and whiskey, you know, those kind of things. If you're interested in those, you can definitely find them out there. But if for no other reason than my youth, I keep this around for a little while. Try it again. Who knows? Maybe take something that has maybe a stronger leather note or something like that, and mix it with half of this or something, and end up with a little bit of hybrid that has something you enjoy. Also, I did not notice any problems at all relating to the fact that this was the version 1 of the Blackbird. Little sharper edges, things like that, didn't bother me at all. From my face feel during the shave, I cannot tell the difference between the version 1 and the version 2. If I had to say, I'd maybe say that the version 1 was a little kinder to me, a little less aggressive. But that's not relating to the sharp corners or anything like that. And none of these corners are sharp. To cut myself, I'd really have to work at it. To cut myself, not with a blade, but with the corners of the actual razor itself. I'd really have to push it. And so for me, those people who complained about version 1 being a little bit too sharp edged and stuff, you know, not necessary probably. It's probably a nice way for him to tweak his razor, polish it up just a little bit more. I think it was a valid suggestion, but I don't think anybody really, I mean, I didn't see any difference. I didn't feel any difference. So no touch-ups or anything like that, and I got an amazing shave. My trouble spot right here, taken care of. Just see the tips of the hairs, and that's about as best as I can ever get. I don't go against the grain. It irritates me too much. And I do have a little bit of irritation right there, but you can only see it. I can't feel it, and it'll be gone soon. So if you've got just a little tougher skin than me, then I think the Blackbird can be a very, very good razor for you and give you those close shaves you need. And it is not one that supports the blade from the bottom very much. You can see how the bottom support is way back up near here. What are we looking at? Maybe 7 millimeters away from the top edge support where the blade comes down, where it comes down right there. I mean, it's quite a bit, but you don't get very much blade chatter, probably because it's bending it so much that the razor blade stays put, you know. And so I don't get that chatter and noise like I do with a lot of those others that have a similar, they may have a similar base plate. They may have a similar, or even, and look, that's pretty narrow. This base plate right here, that's what the only thing supporting the bottom of the blade. But it bends it so much that you're actually okay. Man, what a beautiful piece of work. Feels all precise and stuff, just It feels, heavy. The interactions are smooth, clinking together, and just feels all precision and stuff. And the screwing in, it's just tight tolerances with this kind of thing. You get what you pay for in this situation. All right, well, excellent shave. I'm happy with it. I had to try it before I passed this on, and I'm glad I did. If at all, to say that I can now weigh in on that version 1 versus version 2. Say that it's not really a big deal. Either Blackbird you get. If you like aggressive razors, then it can be a very nice piece of your inventory. So there we go. Hope there was something here for you. You take care. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Bye.